All right, guys, we'll get rolling. First of all, obviously, hard-fought win for us. Really proud of our kids. I certainly give a lot of credit to UNI and their kids, and I'll be really honest with you. I think somebody asked some questions, maybe Randy, it was you on Tuesday, like, man, that's a good football team. And so from our standpoint, I think really proud of our attitude and effort, really proud of how our kids played. And really excited to kind of look at the film, see what was good, see what wasn't good, and then obviously continue to move ourselves forward. But obviously, with that said, questions you got for me?
Matt, in your mind, what was good and what wasn't so good?
Well, I mean, you still look at how we win football games here. You run the ball, you stop the run, and I thought some areas on special teams greatly improved, which is really exciting. I thought Brock, the downfield passing was better than I've seen it, which I think was certainly positive. And, I just think, again, what wasn't good, man, little things like the touchdown comes on a third down. We've got them wrapped up for a sack. The slant, got him tackled, and the guy makes a great play. A couple offensive possessions. You're talking just a couple areas where you're a hair off on a couple little things. So all things that, to be really honest with you, I think you expect in a first game. And, again, that's a team that really believes, and they're not going to ever beat themselves. And, they certainly didn't do that. I know we got a turnover late, which was great. But, I think from both sides, some really positive things, and certainly from our side. I think we'll be okay. It was a little bit, of like a hamstring deal. I don't think it's one of those things that I'm globally concerned about, and I don't feel like our staff is. I think we'll probably know a lot more tomorrow, but, I think really positive. He was walking around pretty good inside, and, again, where's a positive? Gary Vaughn comes in and played outstanding, and I think he's been waiting for his opportunity, so really proud of him as well. Yeah, I think Charlie, my hope is, he'll be back. I think, we felt like was probably really close to playing today, and, he tweaked his ankle not this couple weeks ago, and, it's been really relentless on trying to be able to play. I think was probably really close to being able to play and just wasn't ready yet.
Obviously, that's a position you have depth and experience, but what does him being out change for your offense?
Yeah, I don't know, what all it changes other than we know Charlie is a guy in terms of some critical situations that's certainly a great target for us and creates great matchups in a lot of different ways. But, again, I thought Jared Rush stepped in, did some really good things. I thought he played really well as we were expecting him to play well. I think I said he played really well in fall camp. I think Chase did a really good job. It'll be interesting to see what was Easton Dean, what did that look like today. Again, there was a lot of guys that got some opportunities today that I'm kind of anxious to get into that film and see where are they, how close are they ready to truly helping us as this season progresses.
How do you evaluate Breece Hall's game? I mean, he didn't have huge numbers rushing, but he was also your second leading receiver, so how do you evaluate what he did?
Yeah, I think Breece is one of those guys you're just constantly trying to find ways to be involved in the football game, and there was a lot of tight boxes in there, throughout the football game, which I think we expected was going to happen, and still trying to find, man, you're talking. I felt like we were just a hair off from breaking a big one almost 4 or 5 different times in the football game, and I think again then if you can't do it that way, man, trying to get him out in space and finding some different ways to do it. So again, I'll have to go look at the video and tell you what I really feel of like where were we really good and maybe where were we not as good as we needed to be or we need to be going forward.
How much does this game epitomize what you always talk about, which is it never comes easy?
Yeah, I mean it's right. Like it's the rough side of the mountain here, And to be honest with you, I mean it's just those are things that it's great to play in a tough game. It's great to play against a team that you're going to get their best shot. You always do. They're really well coached, and so much credit to them. But credit to our kids. Like I said, I don't think you looked on that field today and you're like, man, the Iowa State kids didn't play hard. I thought our kids played really, really hard and did some really positive things in a lot of ways as well.
What did you think about the way their quarterback played?
Yeah, I would have to look at the numbers, and I think probably fairly solid. I think the thing about Will is he's just one of those guys that I told him afterwards, man, go win a championship. He's got that kind of moxie about him that he's always going to put his team in a position to make a big play, and just because he's elusive, and like I said, man, he's in the claps of Will McDonald, and he gets out on that third down play, gets the first down, and then a couple plays later throws a slant for a touchdown. And I think, man, a lot of courage for him to sit in that pocket and be able to do what he did. So I'm a big Will McIlvaine fan. I think he's a great player, so a lot of credit to him, and certainly wish him the absolute best moving forward.
What was it like playing in a full house again and all the fans back?
Yeah, like I said, I think it was great to be able to have that energy in the stadium, and I just think for everybody involved, for that to be back and have some sense of normalcy, really special. And you just felt it from, man, the spirit walk for us coming in to going into that stadium. And and again, I thought our kids handled that part of it pretty well too, because I think sometimes 18 to 22-year-olds, a lot of emotion. That there's a lot of that, but I never felt like our kids were too high or too low. I kind of felt like they stayed right in the middle.
What did you think of Kamani King's performance in his first start?
Man, I'm really proud of him. It just in my mind, a guy that had a really good game, and what I saw on the field, he had some big hits. Really, I thought did a great job in coverage for most of the game. The play, Mike's got on the slant. Mike's got him wrapped up, and Kamani I think thinks he's down, and so we'll be able to coach off of that. But man, other than that, I was really proud of Kamani. Kamani played like he's practiced since January, and like he's approached it. He's had a great offseason. I'm really proud of him. I'm really excited for him.
You mentioned special teams. How much did Andrew give you, not just with the touchbacks, but also the field goal?
Do you want to answer this? The Andrew Mevis?
That was, yeah, okay, that was like 4 out of 5 in the end zone.
Do you want to answer it, or do you want? Okay, there you go. Yeah, so whatever Randy writes, I'm sure will be good. So at least that's positive. No, I mean I think from Andrew's standpoint, and then hit a huge field goal for us. So I think. Just in general, Andrew, I think a young man that's got really high-end talent. You got to remember, he hasn't played in a football game in over a year and a half. So you're still working through some of those things a little bit for him. But in general, really huge lift for our football team. They got a field return at the end of when we go up 16-10, which is dangerous however you slice it. I think that's, man, Kane, we had one of those last year in the Oklahoma game, and if that ball comes out, now you got to play defense with those guys. And so huge touchback. It's almost out of the back of the end zone. I just think Andrew gives us a chance to have a real weapon and also be able to score points across the 50.
I was seeing points for your offense. Did it feel like there were some situational things that kept you guys from putting more points on the board?
Boy, I do. We'll have to go back, because I thought there were times where you're catching a really good rhythm, in some fluky things, right? Like the first drive of the game. This is me. Like, was that an incomplete pass? Was it not? I should have probably challenged it at the time. Bad Matt Campbell. Then you got the 3rd and 2. You get the first down. The ball comes out. I think it's Jalen. The ball comes out, goes backwards, and you don't get the first down. And then you had a couple penalties. The one time we crossed the 50, which I think for us, again, that's kind of been a little bit of a reoccurring theme at times when we have struggled across the 50-yard line. And so I think when you look at it, if we don't play well, usually there's an area on offense when we don't execute as well as we need to on the plus side of the 50, and I think that showed up again today.
When you talk about being a couple inches away, I know you probably can't say much about the offensive line without watching the film, but is that one of those areas where it's like, just get one more block or hold block for a second?
Yeah, and like, where's it come from? Jared, and it's easy to say the offensive line, man. Is it the tight ends? What is it? Where were some of those things occurring? And so, again, that'd be a great question for Tuesday, and I'll probably have a better answer for, man, where were we maybe a hair off in some of those areas. But, I thought for the most part, from a protection standpoint, the offensive line was as good as I've seen us. A lot of pressure that came our way today, and then the same thing, I thought there were times where that we had some creases. Where did it slip? Where did we not be able to, maybe maximize the opportunity in the running game? So that'll be an interesting for myself to look into.
Is it good to get something on film for those guys with the heavy run boxes? Just now they've seen it, and they're probably going to see that a lot.
I would have to imagine, yes. So I think it is really good, and again, I think, from our end of it, just, where can we continue to maximize our opportunities in the running game? That's going to be really fun to kind of dissect it, and obviously grow from, and we'll have to do that if we want to be the team we have the ability to be. Yeah, Sean probably a couple weeks away. You know, Sean had off-season surgery. You know, I think he's probably closer than not. I would say, you know, still probably not ready to go next week, but I would say maybe after that, maybe we're getting a little bit closer. So, but Sean's done a great job in terms of kind of getting himself back ready to rock and roll for us.
Sure felt like Will McDonald got back right to where he was at the end of last year. Is that kind of what you saw right on that first drive with the sacks, so on and so forth?
Yeah. You know, and again, Will's a different body type too right now. You know, I think almost 247 going into Thursday's workout, which, you know, I think he's done a great job of physically really preparing himself. And, you know, again, there were moments where he really flashed again today. I thought Zach Peterson did some really good things in the pass rush, which is, I think, you know, got 2 holding calls on him, which were awesome. And provided pressure. I thought Annie did some great things, but man, really proud of Will and what he's done physically to kind of enhance his performance.
Any other questions, Coach?
All right, guys, have a great one.